Good evening, everyone. It's the Ask Dr. Renee show. I am your host, Dr. Renee. This show is here to motivate and inspire you to live the life you deserve. If this is your first time watching our show, we've had lovely guests in the past, and please check our channel to find out who we've had. Ask Dr. Renee is the YouTube channel. Our website's askdrrenee.info, and you can see all the past shows. Tonight we have Christia Donaldson. She is an attorney, an author, a publisher, and an entrepreneur. Welcome to the show, Christia.
Thank you, Renee, for having me.
Christia, there's so much I want to talk to you about tonight. We need to hurry up and get started. So first of all, how does a little girl from Detroit become a Harvard grad and then an attorney? Because you know people have lots of wonderful things, I sarcastically say, about Detroit. So how does that happen?
So a ton of people have a lot of sarcastic things to say about Detroit. But what I would say is Detroiters, there's a little saying that Detroit hustles hard. And so I think, just having grown up in that city, it hasn't always been the way it's portrayed in the media. But I grew up in Detroit in a very nice neighborhood. My family has always worked very hard. My parents went to great lengths to provide me with the best education possible. But I still had that spirit of the grind. Even though, like I said, I grew up in a good place, my parents, especially my mom, did not necessarily come from the greatest circumstances. And just having exposure to that, spending summers with my grandma, being around people who didn't necessarily have the things that I was blessed with, just showed me how not to take things for granted. And if I wanted to get ahead in life, to have a little bit of that grit that you don't necessarily get, say, in a private school.
So how did you come upon wanting to be an attorney, let alone going to Harvard? Harvard, you went to Harvard undergrad and law, right?
I did. So I went to Harvard for college because people would tell you that I always used to say in high school that I'm going to Harvard. I never said that. I said I'm applying to Harvard, but they insist that I was convicted that I was actually going there. And in terms of going to law school, it's a funny story. It's kind of like Legally Blonde, and most people probably would think this is a little hilarious, but when I was a freshman, I wanted to be an attorney, but I put a lot of pressure on myself grades-wise, so I just dropped it. I was like, I'm not going to, think about law school. I'm just going to take things one semester at a time. And then I went to go visit one of my boyfriends, not one, but an ex-boyfriend at Morehouse who was studying for the LSAT. And when I went down there, it just reminded me of, this was my junior year, how much I wanted to apply to law school. And so him applying for law school basically motivated me to apply for law school, and that was kind of how I ended up there.
Okay, that's great. And then what kind, did you have a vision of what kind of law you wanted to practice, or?
Well, it's funny because I was thinking about that today, even before the show, because a lot of people want, young girls and boys, black, white, whatever, have a vision of what it means to be a lawyer. And I went to law school with that vision, like LA Law, Ally McBeal, being in a courtroom. But in actuality, I found that I liked business a lot. And so I ended up becoming a transactional lawyer, so doing deals that assisted business people to buy and sell companies, that type of thing. So most people don't see that side of the law, but that was what I ended up doing.
Okay, that is a very interesting story of how you got there, but I'm glad you got there.
Yeah, I'm there.
So,
hate it.
Right. So you do all this, and then you write this lovely book. Now, how did you come to and it's not a little book, because most people, their first book is not this many pages.
Right.
But not only is it, first of all, I call it a Bible. Like, every person I knew that was transitioning after the book came out, I go, there's this book you should buy. You have so much scientific stuff in here, I forgot you were an attorney. Because honestly, there's so much medical, behind what exactly is a hair follicle, and you explain it down to the exact science. I was like, no wonder she's an attorney, because she does very extensive research.
Well, I don't leave a stone uncovered. So you asked me basically how or why I decided to write the book. So back in 2002, I went natural. But at the time, there wasn't a lot of information in organized fashion for women who wanted to learn or make this journey and embrace their natural curls. So there was really one website with great information, but it was kind of not necessarily all over the place, but it was like a collection of people's personal experiences. And I wanted to take that and build upon it, meaning like give the more scientific background, compile it in a format that was easy to understand and digestible, and that had like a logical sequence. And so I started off thinking I was going to write a little pamphlet, and the little pamphlet turned into a 300-page guide, like you said. Pretty much every black woman who's gone natural, if they've not read it, they've heard of it. And Essence Magazine actually did declare it the Natural Hair Bible. So it's a great resource. It was a labor of love in the beginning of everything that we have taken on for this journey.
Now, I know that attorneys have very, very, very long hours. How? Because I have every excuse in the book of why I haven't started my book. So how did you do this?
Well, it's funny. I mean, you're asking me questions that I sometimes reflect on where it's like, this whole thing is crazy. But I really do think it was just God, because it makes absolutely no sense that being a corporate attorney at a major law firm, working on deals round the clock, that I was able to get this book done. And so I give all honor and glory to God for this project. But in terms of how I actually did it, I spent pretty much every Saturday in the coffee shop writing the book. Every day before work, I would get to work at like 6:30 or 7 and work on the book. And it was just that diligence and that discipline that I applied to this project, and have applied to this project since then, before the book, during the book, after the book, with the product line, that has yielded what you, like you said, we're holding up basically this Natural Hair Bible.
Well, the beginning of the book, you talk about why you went when you went natural, and how it was for you at work. Could you tell that story? Because I think that resonates with so many people. I actually got a call from a girlfriend just this week who's also in Detroit, and explaining to me about the whole corporate culture and how she's afraid to wear her hair, too curly to work. So can you talk about that?
Sure. So basically, I was graduating from Harvard Law School back in 2003, and at the time I was going natural. And back then, it wasn't like going natural. I just knew like, oh, I don't want to continue to put these chemicals in my hair because they're causing my hair to break off. It's also a lot of maintenance, and it's super expensive. So I dropped the chemicals, transitioned, if that's what, there was not really a word for it back then, and then I did the big chop. But the problem is I did this big chop not because I wanted to, but because I had to. I had a bad salon mishap where my hair got all tangled when I got out of braids, and the beautician told me I had no choice but to cut it off. So I started my law firm with a teeny weeny afro, but I knew that that was not going to be considered professional in my mind as a black woman in 2003 at the time. So I opted to wear a wig, and basically thinking, oh, if I have these shiny, shoulder-length, neatly manicured tresses, that I will be successful here. And it turns out nothing could have been further from the truth. I literally almost got fired a year after starting that job. That was 10 years ago, and in my first review, basically my head of my group, or my boss, was like, no one has any confidence in you. You need to figure out what you really want to do. Like, he's like, you'll thank me. And at the time, I was so crushed, but here I am 10 years later, and you know what? Thank you. That's all I can say. Thank you for giving me the direction and telling me that you didn't think I was good enough. But the point of that story was, I went out of my way to make other people feel comfortable, to have a look that other people considered to be professional and mainstream. And I left that place never apologizing for who I was again. And I said, corporate America, you're going to take me as I am. Slang, a little bit of twang, hair, a little bit of sass and all. And I think it's really worked well for me up until this point.
I think so. I think so. And you should probably write the write your former boss a letter.
I need to. Hey!
No, I saw this on the Oprah show. Some girl got up and talked about how she was fired. And Oprah said, you need to write him a thank you note and thank him for doing that. So yeah, my former boss died, so I guess I can't thank him. But seriously, I mean, you might think about that. I would probably send him a picture of, the big announcement, and then, so we'll talk about that shortly as well. Right, exactly, and say thank you. So you write this fabulous book, Thank God I'm Natural, and next thing you know, I mean, we're both here in Chicago, so I just happened to see these products start coming, and I'm like, what is she doing? I saw you at every expo, and, any place where they had a booth to set up, there she was. And actually, one of your friends, I didn't know she was an attorney. I just thought she worked for you.
It's that hustle. It's that hustle. It's like some days.
Like years later, I was like, I just thought she was one of your employees. I was like,
no, it's that hustle.
Right.
It's that hustle.
Right. But so how did you come up with, how did you even think of, like I said, once again, here comes science. How did you think of these products? And, and I know you don't just have hair, you have bath stuff and body.
So, there was always a void. Like I said, 10 years ago when I went natural, there was very little on the market. If you wanted to go natural, at the time I was using things like Blue Berries, Pink Oil, Lotion by Lusters, products that may have existed, our grandparents used or we used when we were kids, filled with petroleum and lanolin, heavy, and just wouldn't give you the results that we see from products on the market today. So I knew that there was an opportunity for improvement. I also watched as I was writing this book, as people were coming out with their own products, which made me, like I need to get out there. So that was a little frustrating, but at the end of the day, they say he may not come when you want him to, but he's right on time, and nothing could have been truer because the industry has changed slightly. Prices have come down. Opportunities have been available. Things like Target, consumers have changed in terms of what they want, what they're looking for, that type of thing. So I feel that my line of products came out at the perfect time. So I've taken advantage of that, and we'll see where this takes us.
So how many years have you had the products?
Since the end of 2012. So this is going on literally, let's see, probably about 2 years at this point. From basically, you could say 2013 till now. So about over 2 years.
Okay, and in this time, I've seen, and I keep meaning to, when I'm in the aisle, to take pictures at Mariano's, because I'm just like, I can't believe this. But, I've seen the products at Whole Foods, and then Mariano's, which I said which is local to Chicago, Illinois area. But now, March 1st, you will be across the nation in Target.
So, Renee, I know, it's in less than 2 years. It's hilarious.
I know.
It's hilarious. It's kind of like I showed up to the party late, and yeah, we got picked up right when we were supposed to. But yeah, so on March 1st, we'll be in select Target stores nationwide. And right now we're promoting March 1st. That's when they tell me, the stores will start carrying the product. It may take 10 to 14 days for them to transition the products into the actual stores. So March 1st, we're basically going to be like, whoever finds it first, there's going to be some type of prize or award. But, officially we're in stores March 1st, but it may, like I say, take like an additional 2 weeks for them to turn over the planogram and kind of reset the shelf. But yes, we'll be there March 1st.
Well, what I say is, you go to the store, and if you don't see it, please say something, because if they have everyone asking them about it, then it'll hurry up and everything will change.
Yes, so that's the plan.
I started a wine brand, same thing. I was like, I've been to the store 10 times, they're getting sick of me, I'm asking for it, and then finally it shows up in the store. So
there you go. That's what we're going to need. We've got our own little army of support. Of course. So I love it.
But anyone that's watching this now or watches it later, please make sure that you go and look for these products. And everyone, we need you to buy at least one product. Please so that they will definitely keep ordering and keep ordering. Also, we'll have we'll have her website, Twitter, and all that. But definitely, you see the product, get on Instagram and tag them at TGI Natural. Tag them so that they know you bought the product. Take a picture.
We would love that. Please definitely let us know, like Renee said, if there's any issues finding the product, or if you do find the product, let us know. We could use all the support possible.
Definitely, definitely. So, so now that you've done all this in 2 years, what is a day in your life like?
You really want to know, Dr. Renee? I tell people,
there's lots of entrepreneurs out there, and so they need to understand what it is to really hustle hard.
Well, it's a mix. During the week, I don't feel I'm as productive as I would like to be. A typical Sunday, I usually get a lot done on the weekends, but during the week, I do have a real job. I'm also still working full-time for one of the largest software companies out there as an attorney, and so that's great. It keeps me sharp, and it keeps me working for business people who are super aggressive and close deals all the time. That's where I think I get my deal-making skills from. But a typical day for me is I wake up around 7. I have breakfast. I used to work out early, but since I find that my most productive part of the day is like the first 4 or 5 hours, I try to get as much work done as possible in the morning, both for my real job and then the company. And then I take a lunch break. I might head into the office head into the office of my lawyer gig. And after that, I might stop by the factory, grab a coffee, come home, do a little bit of work, but I always try to shut it down before 7 or 8, and that happens on repeat pretty much Monday through Friday. But the people who really run the company on a day-to-day basis, meaning my ops team, production team, they're at it all day, every day, grinding, and then on the weekends, I grind when I catch up on email and make a lot of to-do lists and delegate things for other people to start working on at the beginning of the week.
That is, it's good that you shut off at 7, 8. That's lovely.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's good that you delegated.
Yeah, I think about it all the time, and sometimes I can go really late, like 10 or 11. But I know people are like, oh, you don't sleep. With the Target thing, when we first got in and we had our first big purchase order, that was a little bit intense, and I was working like round the clock. But the whole delegation piece, the more capable people that you hire and the more you delegate, the less you have to execute. My job is to think and strategize and to watch a lot of data and statistics and see how it impacts the business and what we're doing and the financial decisions we're making. And so I can do that during business hours and a little bit after that, but it's so intense all the time. It's hard to go, till midnight. It's hard because it's so intense.
I can only imagine. We had Paul Carrick-Brunson on recently, and he talked about he's not involved in the day-to-day anymore. And so, he's got it going where he has people that can get it done, and he doesn't have to be. So that's wonderful, and that's where most people want to get. So that's a good thing. So what do you think is your definition of success?
People ask me that, and I just feel like I think you have to just get to the point where you're okay with where you are, and enjoy one day at a time instead of always looking for the next challenge or the next milestone or the next mountain to climb. I think you're truly successful when you say, I'm just happy to just be in this particular moment. And so I am struggling to get there. I think I'm close. I'm trying to say, this Target thing is truly an accomplishment. I'm happy to be there. But on the other hand, like I said, work for a software company where people are aggressive. It's a Shark Tank, and they're like, we didn't come to play, we came to win. So it's that internal struggle between, you know what, I've worked really hard and I've accomplished a lot, and I've got an empire to build, and there's only so much room at the top. So it's kind of finding a peaceful middle ground. I think that's when you're truly successful.
I like that definition. We have a question from the audience, and this is someone I know who is a naturalista, as well as she has a child that is too.
Okay.
Tuning in late, she said. What exactly is the product? Is it shampoo, conditioner? How do you pronounce the name? And how is it different from the other products on the market?
Okay, so the product line is called the Moist Collection, and the product name is TGIN, and it's short for Thank God It's Natural. And the products generally retail $14.99 for our shampoo, our moisture-rich sulfate shampoo, our triple moisture leave-in conditioner, our Honey Miracle hair mask. We have a buttercream daily moisturizer and a twist and define cream. And it can be used by both mom and daughter. The reviews for our products have been outstanding. You can read those on Instagram. You can read them on our website. You can read them on Amazon. You can look at them on our Facebook page. We have a whole section on customer testimonials. But I think what really makes us different is not only the ingredients, use very high quality natural ingredients, but performance. And the same way Dr. Renee was talking about the book, like how scientific it was and long and like poured over, I put so much energy into making these products work. A lot of time you will see products come out, like natural hair care lines pop up, and people, because it is a booming industry, it's a little gold town of 2000 and whatever, 13 to 15, but sometimes these products don't work. And so I refuse to put anything out that doesn't perform or deliver on its promises. And the promises are softer, moisturized, more manageable hair for people with textured or curly hair. And like I said, the reviews show that the products deliver that. When it comes to a product development cycle, it can take me anywhere from a year to 2 years to come out with the product. So right now, our Buttercream Daily Moisturizer is one of our most popular products. It took me almost 60 trials with the chemist to get it exactly the way I wanted it. And so I think it's that level of excellence, that level of detail that always goes into making our products is what separates us. I will also say that not only do the reviews show that the products work, but we're always striving to make the products better. So if there's an ingredient in there that we feel we can make it even better or like find an even more natural alternative, we're looking for it. So people within the company say we're like Apple, like you guys have the iPhone or like the shampoo, but we're constantly releasing updates that you probably wouldn't even know existed and finding ways to improve upon the quality, not only in terms of performance, but of the ingredients that we're using. And so I'm very proud that we don't stop at good enough, that we're always on the quest to make this perfect.
Perfect. Wonderful. Now, you said all the hair stuff, so none of the bath body stuff will be at Target?
No, not at this time. We'll see about that maybe in 2016, but for right now, the focus is primarily or exclusively on hair.
Okay, because I know Mariano's carries a lot of the body stuff, yeah. So what lesson do you think took you the longest to learn?
That's a good one. I think from the very beginning, I trusted my instincts. I think I got that down. But I think the lesson that took me the longest to learn, I'm a perfectionist, and sometimes you've got to let things go and adopt that iPhone model where it may not be 100% the way you want it to, but if it's like 96%, it's okay. And it's okay as a starting point, and there's going to be room for improvement, and there's going to be changes. but it's got to be good enough for me to stand behind. But sometimes it's hard for me to let things go if it's not exactly the way I want it to be. But I've learned, you know, there's going to be changes. There are going to be changes to labels. There are going to be changes to ingredients. You have to be able to roll with the punches. But like I said, giving up the quest for perfection and just going with almost perfect is something that I think I've had to come to grips with.
So, first of all, you're a woman. Second of all, you're Black. And third, you're young. So how do these executives receive you when you walk into a room?
With Target or with like
with
my company?
Target, with, you know, Mariano's, any of those places when you've, you know, this is my company. You know, I know that's not what they're expecting because honestly, a lot of Black hair care stuff is made by white people.
Yeah. I think for them, I think they respect what I've accomplished, but I think we're playing in a different league. And while they're like, okay, that's cool that you have 100,000 Facebook fans, like, this is the real deal, the big leagues. And are you ready? And are you going to get your orders here on time? Are you going to deliver when you say you're going to deliver? Is your stuff going to hold up on the shelf? What are you going to do to market the product? So it's a lot of tough questions, and I think there's a little, I think it's fair for them to view someone, whether with all my characteristics or even if I didn't, any new vendor, with skepticism. You have not proven yourself. You've proven yourself on a smaller scale, and it was easy to get, you know, orders to Mariano's after, you know, a little bit of time of figuring things out and getting orders out to customers. When you go from like being in like 30 and 50 stores to 250, it changes the game tremendously. So no matter how much things were under control before we got in to Target, it's like it's like hitting a reset button, and it's like you're constantly trying to play catch up. So yes, it is fair, not necessarily because I'm a woman and young, but because of the magnitude of the opportunity for them to view a new vendor with skepticism, because it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
to ramp up.
I watched the natural hair care stuff at Target, and it hasn't changed in a while. So yeah, it's the same, you know, Shea Moisture, Miss Jessie's is there. You know, it's the same product. So this is, you know, wonderful that they are bringing in something new.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. Now we have to speak on the personal side. So being a young Black woman and single, how do you maneuver personal life with your professional life? Because that is something that a lot of us struggle with.
What do you mean personal life with the professional life, Dr. Renee?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. You know, there's some of us that don't have any kind of a clue what that balance is.
I think it just really, like I said, I think that having that time to cut things off is like that 7 o'clock cutoff time. Like, okay, it's time for dinner. It's time for a little Breaking Bad. It's time for me to light a candle. I think that helps, like creating boundaries. Now, what I'm not good at is getting my nails done, going to get massages, like, and taking care of myself. Sometimes, you know, a lot of times you want to make sure that everything's okay with your employees and like in your personal life, your family or your significant other, that sometimes you feel a little bit neglected. And so, like I said, I'm not the greatest at achieving that balance, but what has been helpful for me is saying that, you know, at 6 or 7 o'clock, I'm throwing in the towel. And then I also am getting better about really, like, how would I put it? Because we're gearing up for a launch, is going to be full throttle for the next few months. But up until then, or up until now, really, I've been really good about being like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of traveling, but so I've not had to travel for like a year and some change. But yeah, I've kind of like said, these are the things I want to do. This is how I want to grow my company. These are the things I enjoy. And so I've kind of stuck to that. But now, as we get ready to expand, I have to kind of make some sacrifices, and I'm prepared to do that.
Groovy. Detroit is representing tonight. We have another question from another Detroiter. Carlotta says, how did you market your products beyond trade shows and expos, and what other forms of marketing have you utilized for growth and increased market share?
So beyond trade shows and expos, social media has been huge for us. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, our blog. These have all been very instrumental in cheap ways for us to get the message out about our products. Doing interviews with people like Dr. Renee, interviews with various bloggers, sending out samples has also been a great way for us to get the word out about our products. As we're taking on this opportunity, and like I said, there is a bit of a cloud of skepticism, like, what are you going to do? We're taking a risk on you. Now you have to prove yourself. It's very important for us to, take greater risk when it comes to advertising. So now we're advertising in essence. It's very expensive to do that. We have a small ad, like a business card size ad, but we're going to see how that works out. And just kind of forming partnerships and strategic alliances has also been extremely helpful to us. So finding, bloggers who love your stuff, or people on social media who love your stuff. The greatest one of forms of advertising is word of mouth, and so we really try to tap into that. So yes, beyond trade shows and expos, those are some of the things that we've done to get the word out about our products.
And Carlotta said, are they going to be available in Detroit Target stores? They're going to be available nationwide in Target
stores. Yes,
I'm
hoping so. We get the store locator in about 2 weeks. And so we'll post that on the website, but I'm hoping, like, pretty much, if we're talking 250 stores, I'm really hoping most of the major markets, where African Americans or women with textured hair live. So, we know those cities. So I'm really hoping that they're there, and I'm from there, so that would be great.
Yeah, I hope that they will definitely have them in Detroit, because I think Detroit will get behind this, and maybe the free press and the news will watch it.
I hope so. I hope so.
We shall see. It's a funny story of how me and Christia met. We met in high school at the Detroit area pre-college engineering program.
Yes.
And I actually sent a text to the man that used to run it. He lives here in Chicago now. And hopefully he's watching too, because he gets so excited when he hears about Dapset doing great things.
I love Dapset. I did.
Yeah. I've met so many people from Dapset, and then
we met
them again at Michigan State. It was an amazing program, and they're still doing Dapset. Actually, now they're in kindergarten and first grade and stuff, so they've expanded it tremendously.
I love it.
So Dapset was amazing and a great place to, a great start. Neither one of us are engineers, but it was a good, place to learn how to think like a scientist, engineer, just, critical thinking, period.
Right.
So, and then we re-met in Chicago, and she tells me today, and I remember, you weren't really good on Twitter. I had more followers than you.
Yeah.
She's like, what? How do I do it? What do you mean?
Dr. Renee was like, there's this thing called Twitter. Like, you could talk to celebrities and all of this, and I'm like on there. She tried to show me how to use it. I was like, I don't know, Dr. Renee. This is so complicated. But yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, now she has, like I said, 5 figures of, followers, and she's killing Instagram. I mean, Instagram, I think, is great for you because it allows people that use your products, like I did, and I posted my picture when I posted my picture as soon as I did my first thing. I was like, this is what I did, and here's my picture, and it shows, so people can see, because when I look through your Instagram, I get hairdo ideas even. I'm like, okay, what did she do? And, usually they'll tell you what they did, twist out, braid out, whatever, excuse me, and they're really good about telling you what product they used. And so I think, Instagram is great. Pinterest is probably another one that would be very good for you as well. Remind me to tell you more about Pinterest, too. But we have another.
Oh, for sure.
Your hair looks great. What is your current regimen? Obviously, you are using your own product, but tell us how often and what are the steps are, and how often are you putting heat on your hair?
Well, not often. I mean, I get a blowout probably 4 or 5 times a year just when I get my ends trimmed. So the key is just keeping your hair moisturized, and using products that don't strip the moisture out of your hair, specifically a shampoo that contains sulfates or harsh detergents. So yes, I use TGIM products faithfully, and I just make sure that I wash my hair probably like once a week or once every 10 days. But every time I wet my hair, I'm always kind of in a protective style, like a bun. So I'm constantly conditioning it, constantly deep conditioning it. So like I condition it like every 3 days. I mist it with water pretty much every day because I wear my hair in a bun a lot, and I just keep my ends protected. So that's kind of what I do.
Groovy, groovy. I need to get the shampoo because I have not tried that, but I shampoo my hair so not frequently. Like I'm a conditioner wash girl. I co-wash all the time.
Dr. Renee, let me know.
Yeah, I gotta get the try the shampoo. I only feel like I should shampoo my hair when there's a whole bunch of gunk in it, and so then I'm like, okay, we'll strip it. But otherwise, yeah. So otherwise, I conditioner wash it because my hair, I think I told you, it all fell out, and I figured out because I was working out and the sweat didn't agree with it, so I have to wash it every day. So if I'm gonna wash it every day, there's no way I can shampoo it every day because it'll be dry. So that's why the conditioner.
That's fair.
Yeah. And then the first time I went to a stylist after doing this, I was so nervous because, I mean, I'm not a hairstylist. I don't know what I'm doing.
And you're like, are they going to tell me that I'm a bad girl?
Yes, and that's why I was so nervous. I've actually cut it all off. Mind you, it looked fine to me, but I was just like, oh, God. And sure enough, she said, you've taken such good care of your hair. I said, thank you. I just felt like, whew, I called my sister when I left and was like, Liz, she didn't cut my hair off.
Oh, my God. I know the feeling when you go in and you're like, I've been a bad girl. I've been such a bad girl. So, yeah.
So, I mean, especially because I was somebody who went to the salon every week to go
I
go at all.
Dr. Renee, back in the day.
Yes. So that's why I was really terrified because I'm not accustomed to doing my own hair. So this was a huge undertaking for me. I was like, what? But I knew I could not pay someone to do my hair every day. And if I'm going to wash it every day, I didn't see the point in going every week. That was silly. If I'm going to put water in it 5 minutes after I leave, then...
No, I completely feel you. Yeah, and that's the struggle that I think a lot of us have as naturals. It's like if you go to the salon, which is great just to get a second set of opinions or whatever, second set of eyes on your hair, but you feel like, one, such a prisoner that you can't do anything for a long period of time. And then, two, you're like, how long is this going to last? Like, ugh. So yeah.
I remember you told me that this girl cut your ends at, it was a franchise salon. I can't think of the name of it now, but I went and it just took her a long time, but she did a good job. But I was just like, that just took too long. All I got was my ends trimmed. She didn't style it. So I was like, there's no reason I should have been in the salon that long.
No, I feel you.
Yeah, I was like, we're gonna have to find another avenue to finally, get these ends clipped. But
I hear you.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. It's a whole language with the natural hair. Like I said, somebody just called me this week and was asking me to explain all this different stuff, and it was too. I mean, but it really is like you need I remember there's a
Yeah. You can't just jump in. You try to jump in. You try to jump in.
Isn't there a key with your word in your book?
Yeah.
That explain exactly. Yeah. I thought
it's
so.
Like, it's like there's a whole glossary just in case. Just in case.
Because
things we all know over time.
Like, huh? Yeah.
Things we all know over time. It's like, people who are going natural, we're like taking for granted that they know these things already. They don't.
We have another hair question. What's your opinion on this one? Naturally curly, should ends be cut while hair is curly, or should it be blown straight for a trim?
I think it's a personal preference. I feel that you can get a more precise cut with your ends when they're blown straight, but that's just me personally. But a lot of people who are on the kind of heat-free method or heat-free movement, for whatever reason, they feel their hair is in much better shape when they don't apply heat to it. So I understand that. But then also there are people who prefer to get their hair cut when it's wet because they're like, you can get it will hang exactly the way it would when it is wet, which is normally, or you know what I'm saying, in its curly state. I just think it's a matter of personal preference and depending on the qualifications of your stylist. If your stylist is not good at cutting hair, curly hair when it's wet, then that might not be the person you go to if that's your personal preference. So for me, like I said, I like that precise cut when it's dry, but that's just me.
But it looks lovely straight. See, I don't wear it straight to worry about it, so I'm just like, just cut it. Just cut whatever, and it'll be just fine.
Right, you're like, you'll be okay.
I straighten it like once every 10 years, and I'm like,
I'm good. You're
yeah,
like, I'm good.
Exactly. I think I like the way I look with curly hair versus straight anyway. So
I do too.
Yeah, so. Teresa wants to know the name of the book. I'll show you again. Thank God I'm Natural by Christia Donaldson. So you can definitely get the book. She said she can't wait to get it.
Okay.
So I also know that you did a lot of workshops about writing books and publishing books because you self-published.
Yeah.
So can you speak a little bit about that? Because I know a lot of bloggers and a lot of the groups I'm in on Facebook, do I self-publish or do I try and get a publisher? So can you talk about maybe the pros and cons? And
Sure. I opted to self-publish because back in 2005, this was before like the democratization of the internet and when information was more readily available for electronic download, like via Kindle and the iPad. This might have even been before the iPad. Because I remember when someone was like, are you going to make your book available on iPad? I was like, black women don't use iPads. That was back in 2000. Like, this is back in like 2006 before like Kindles and all of this technology was like so readily available. So I opted to self-publish because one, a mainstream publisher wasn't necessarily interested in the project because they did not understand what this whole natural hair was. I was kind of like ahead of my time. And two, because just I felt like I had greater control. I would hate for anything where I'm saying, thank God, anything that I turn it over to someone else. And like that name meant a lot to me, but if I had turned it over to a publisher, they may have took my hard work and they said, well, we don't really like God in the title. Why don't we call it like something else? Like thank heaven it's natural, or I'm naturally beautiful, or whatever. So I think there were certain aspects of the project that were extremely personal to me, like my story, the way I communicated with the reader, the pictures of the models that I had selected, as well as the title of the book, that I did not want to relinquish control to someone and risk compromising what I felt was the integrity of the project. So, yeah, that's why I decided to self-publish.
Now, have you published any other books with the company or just this one?
Just this one. I have like another book written on a topic, but I just haven't gotten around to releasing it because I really want the focus right now to be on hair. So, yeah.
Perfect. Well, that's wonderful. This whole self-publishing thing can be very daunting, I think, because then you have to actually, and which you did, because I saw you slaying the books at the expo.
Oh yeah, it's like I have to go out. Like I have to have these books in my trunk. Like this is the first year, guys, literally where I don't walk around with products like in my car. Like it's like amazing. People are always like, can I get? I'm like, I don't have stuff in my car anymore. I don't have anything in my house. I'm normal. If you want it, let me know. Shoot me an email and I'll get it sent out to you. But it just feels so good not to have stuff in my car. Now, I will say, like, if we do events, I have to pick it up, but it's not like before where it was like there was a case of 44 books in the back of my car. Right. Not anymore.
And she had T-shirts, too, that were really cute, too. I have a T-shirt, I have the book, I have the product. So, yeah, she covered the entire...
You guys were there from the very beginning.
Yes. I don't even know that the labeling looks the same anymore. I mean, But yeah, I like my little daily moisturizer.
Thank you. You got to email me your address, Renee, so I can get you. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's just. I mean, I am so in shock. I mean, I saw and I can't believe. And when I saw you announce Target, I was just like, what? Like, I know somebody that actually put something in Target. I still am just. I'm
Dr.
so
Renee,
amazed.
was hilarious.
But I mean, I am just like, that is so. I mean, when I saw it at Whole Foods, but I knew it was local. And I knew a lot of people at Whole Foods actually because the Urban League had a program, and so they had a lot of people in there. So I knew people at the Whole Foods. Okay. Mariano's, I was like, it was as soon as it opened. I was like, the store's been here 5 minutes, and she's in here. And then Target, I was like, across the country? I was like, I have to send my mother to the store. I can't believe. So what does your dad say about all this?
My dad is just like a very, how would I put it? He's a very stoic individual, but he doesn't say anything. He just kind of says, send me brochures and samples. And then I get emails from like his random friends who are like, your dad is so proud of you. He talks about you all the time. He's given me a copy of your book. He's given me da-da-da-da. But he never really says anything to me directly.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, at least you know he is proud.
Yeah.
Did he think you were slightly crazy when you were deciding to do this, though?
Oh, I just wrote, somebody did an interview with me, like an email interview. They're like, has your family been supportive? I'm like, yes. But my dad totally did not get this when I first was doing it. He just didn't understand it. And I think like now he totally gets it. But previously it was like, why are you doing this? Like, why don't you comb your hair? Like, why? Like, why? Why are you doing this? Why do you walk around like this? But I think he gets it now. I think more than gets it.
Yeah, I think my mother is fine. It's my father that's like, Renee, don't you think you should straighten your hair? And then he's like, you grow all this long hair now. Why don't you wear it straight? Because my hair is probably the longest that it's been in my entire life. It is extremely drawn up today considering how cold it is outside.
Okay.
But it is. You've seen it. But yeah, I was like, but Dad, this is my natural hair. And it, I was like, and then, I mean, my whole thing is because I am such a sweater when I work out especially, it just makes life so much easier when I don't have to worry about it being straight.
No, agreed. Like I said, it's just like you give up on it. You give up on it. You have to.
Yeah, and then I can, like I said, I have to wash it every day. I'm just like you. If I don't wash it, I'm misting it daily. Yeah. And that's something I just learned in the last 5 years. I had a friend, her hair was the same texture as mine, and I was like, your hair is beautiful. What are you doing? And she's like, water.
Every day.
Water? And she's like, water. And I thought she was completely crazy. Every day. Like, I finally got a water bottle.
Just a little drink, just a tiny little drink.
Yep. I was like amazed. And when I tell, especially older people, that I have to wash my hair every day, they think I am completely crazy.
They think you've gone total white girl. They're like, you've really lost it now.
But then I show them the pictures of how my hair was literally this thick and now where it's at, and they're like, oh my. And I said I've had the cosign of several hairdressers that have looked at my hair.
That have looked at you and have said, Renee, this is great.
Right. And actually my hairdresser here, she saw my hair falling out. Could not tell me what to do.
Seriously?
She was like, she was trying. I went to the dermatologist. She couldn't figure it out, and it was that.
What?
Yep. So, and it was just the sweat, and she did not know. She was like, what? And I said, and you know how I found it out, and I hope to have them on the show. Black Girls Run.
Seriously? So other people have had this issue?
That was the thing. One of them, I don't remember which one, wrote about it in one of their blog posts. You know, I met Black Girls Run via Twitter when they first started. They had like 2,000 followers, and my sister and I were like, we didn't even know that we were in on the ground floor with them. But I met them at Essence a couple years ago and was able to tell them that thank you, because I was going bald and didn't know what was going on.
And you were like, I didn't know what was going on.
Didn't have a clue. One of them put a blog post about some people need to wash the sweat off their hair daily. And that just resonated in my head. And I go, because it was happening when I was working out. I was working out every day. I said, Mom, I'm losing weight, but I will be bald. I'm not sure how cute I'll be because I won't have any hair, but I'll be thin. And so she just couldn't figure it out. And like I said, I went to the dermatologist. I tried everything. So I started washing it every day. And it was crazy. It just started growing back. And the hairdresser, I went to visit her I think sometime in the summer, and one of her old clients was there as well. And she's like, oh, no, Renee did all this. She's like, she figured out what the problem was and started washing it, and it grew back.
What?
So, it's the strangest. My sister doesn't have to do that. It's just me. My sister works out every day.
Everybody's hair has its own kind of,
chemistry and all that. And so I'm glad. I know me and my sister, we do have the same texture of hair, but she can go and not have, like I said, she washed her hair weekly.
Okay.
And it's good. I, on the other hand, and it wasn't even, I did the protective styling. It was none of that. Like, the hair just was like, my hair was out here and it just was coming in. It was so crazy. And the girl that shampooed my hair kept saying, your hair is falling out. And I'm like, you know how people say things like that, but you think they're exaggerating? Well,
yeah.
I think she was exaggerating.
But as soon as you start washing the sweat off, back in.
Started growing back out. And I mean,
wow.
And I went from twists. I think you remember I had twists that were like this long.
Yeah.
And it would take me forever to twist it, and there was no way I was taking it out unless I absolutely knew I was going somewhere. And so I just wore it twisted. But now it's long enough. Like I said, I'll twist it tonight. No big deal. Take me 15 minutes. So, yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, hair is crazy. Do you have a favorite quote or scripture before we wrap up?
Oh, my goodness. I think my favorite one is trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding, and that's Proverbs 3:5. Yeah, okay. That's one of my favorites.
And actually, I did read this, the interview you're talking about, because you said that, and I remembered that. That's where I just heard that, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We so appreciated having you this evening. And everyone is going to go to Target. I know you know somebody with curly hair.
Please.
And actually, I mean, they don't even have to have curly hair. You can grab shampoo and conditioner. Everybody needs to wash their hair.
I agree.
And it's not gonna be ridiculously priced. So even if you just buy it just because you like to support, please, just because we are supporting a Detroiter, which of course is very important to me. 2, a black woman, and 3, a budding, empire to be. She could be the next, you never know, Lisa Price, Carol's daughter.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Right, that would be
Dr. Renee.
See what she did.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And she's still running it, but she made a whole lot of money off of that huge transaction. So this
off
could be.
Into the sunset. Off into the sunset.
So I will definitely include all of Christia's information below the video. So you'll have her website, Instagram, Twitter, and we'll definitely, and then I'll have a link so people can purchase the book as well.
Thank you.
And we will definitely keep everyone informed. If you just watch my tweets, my Facebook, to let you know, keep reminding you about this launch, because we're very excited about this launch. So I just want to tell everyone thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for all the questions. My fellow Detroiters, thank you.
Thank you, D-Town. Representing 7 Mile, baby.
So thank you so much. And if we have said anything to motivate or inspire you tonight, please leave a comment below. I'd so appreciate it. If you know somebody that we should interview that motivates or inspires you, please leave a comment below. Tweet me, Instagram, email me, whatever. Just get in touch with me and let me know, because I'm more than interested to check them out, because I love to hear these stories, because they just inspire me. Like I said, Christina and I, we're from Detroit, and I'm like, if she could do it, well, shoot, I could do it. And I know desire. I'm going to write the book. I don't need the hair product line, but I'll get the book done.
I'm holding you to that, Renee.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But next week, we have Rob Hill Sr., the heart healer. Rob Hill is, if you don't know who he is, please make sure you start following him on Twitter and Instagram. The man says some of the most poetic and, I mean, just relationship-wise, he would be the best man. And he is single, but he would be a wonderful husband. He's young, but he has, I don't know where it comes from, and I can't wait to talk to him because he is one smart cookie, and he also philanthropist, entrepreneur. He's an author as well. I think he's written 3 books, and they're all available on, you know, everything as well. So we're talking to Rob Hill Sr. next week, and we will get his stuff up as soon as we get everything ready for Christia's stuff tonight. So everyone start pushing that, and I hope to see you next week, same time, same place. Thanks,
Dr. Renee. Have a good night.
You too.